What is up, Terror Squad? It's Solar. Hope you're having a sunny day today. We're gonna move on from that because, you know, January, Michigan, all that jazz. So I wanted to talk about the time that I petitioned Saint Expedite. I don't know, because somebody asked me to do it like a while ago, and I just have literally not gotten around to it. So I'm like, yeah, we can talk about it now. Also, before I start, I just want to let you guys know that this isn't necessarily going to be a video that I'm talking about like the history of Saint Expedite and just going into like the lore and things and all that. Like, please go watch somebody else. I learned about Saint Expedite watching Conjure Queen. She has some good videos about him. African Witch. I fucking love me some African Witch, bitch. Y'all know I live, breathe, and die on YouTube. Anyway, so her video was very informative on working with Saint Expedite and just like how you petition them and like that whole process. I mean, how you petition any deity, angel, whatever energy that you're working with. It's literally the same shit. They just, you know, he just wants certain offerings, right? And I guess we'll talk about that. The only things that he wants is a pound cake and public accolades. And I guess this is one of my forms of public accolades. Like, I already posted on my Instagram when I did the actual ritual, I posted like, you know, that I was working with him. So, you know, I had to give him a shout out. But yeah, anyway, so and oh, that's one thing, your public accolades, just do that as soon as possible, because I mean, all your offerings really to Saint Expedite, do it as soon as possible, because if he's working fast for you, you need to be working fast for him. And also, like, your shit can get taken away. Like, I haven't had that experience, but I also don't fuck around and find out. So I'm gonna leave that to you. But yeah, so I guess story time. I was staying with my sister and some bullshit happened, and I was just like, you know what? I need to get the fuck on. And it'd be real easy for me to come on here and make story times about that whole shenanigans and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, like, you know, I'm left-hand path. I'm really about this shit, and it's about personal accountability. And so the question I had to ask myself during this time was, why am I so not accountable and irresponsible with my finances that I have to rely on somebody else for a fucking house? You know what I mean? Like, for a living situation. And yeah, so I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna exit stage left. I'm gonna, you know, do my thing or whatever. I think I mentioned in one of my videos, like, I took a ride on a Chaos Dragon. That was literally this entire situation. So, and when the Chaos Dragon came through, if you know anything about dragons, you know, like when you're riding that black dragon, it's literally like a sign of like, okay, this too shall pass. This is over. Like the hard shit's over. You can like stop spazzing the fuck out. But yeah, anyway, so just taking accountability for my bullshit and all that good stuff. I just was like, I need to get the fuck on and get on right now. And so that's what I did. But I had to petition Saint Expedite because I didn't want to wait for earthly matters. I'm like, if I stay here an extra month, 2 months, 2 weeks, 2 days, it might have, yeah. I didn't want to be in jail. I didn't want to be in a grave. I didn't want to put nobody in jail. I didn't want to put nobody in the grave. So bitch had to go. But we're good. It's been so great because it's like, I'm in my first ever apartment. Hello. But okay, I know that there's levels to this shit, but let me tell you, like, I've always lived with someone else. You know what I mean? Like, even when I moved out, like I moved out when I was 17, but I've always had like roommates and stuff, or a man, or just, you know, living with somebody. So this wasn't even just like a personal, like, oh, this is some money issue, Like, this was past life bullshit that I had to overcome. Like, because literally in all my past lives, I was like a couch surfing, like house hopping, like ass person, like literally have like no grounding, right? So yeah, there's just like a lot of like just old issues that, you know, came from like centuries and millennia ago that I'm just, you know, transmuting now. Yay. Anyway, so I had to kind of get over a lot of fear and anxiety and just a lot of like just weird woo-woo about just being by myself. And you know, it's crazy because spirit really be out here just like holding it the fuck down, because when I was going through that transition phase, and you know, I was out and I was like buying things for my new apartment and just like trying to, you know, stack certain things up, and you know, it's just dotting your I's, crossing your T's. That's how that goes, right? Yeah. Just making sure. yeah, I just end up meeting so many different people from so many different walks of life that were literally in my same position where they're like, oh yeah, I'm about to move out. This is my first time being by myself. Now, rather like the person would be like 18. The one chick I talked to, she was like 60 and she was just, she's been with her sugar daddy all her life. And she's like, I'm finally getting my own place and I don't know what to do and all this other stuff. So it was literally like, and it's not like I know any of these people personally. It's just like people I've met in passing, but having those conversations with those people and just being like kind of like the support system, but also it's like, girl, I see you. I'm in the same boat. um, that was just very helpful for me during the time, because when I tell you like everything, like I was in such a negative downward spiral. Like and that actually brings me to one of the points I wanted to make about lying in your spell work, because anyway, when I tell you like lying can boost your fucking shit, we'll get into it. But anyway, so yeah, I'm just grateful that I was able to run into people that were doing like, the same thing at the same time, because like, I don't know, I felt less alone. I felt less, like, if I'm being honest, I felt a lot less stupid, because again, I know that there's levels to this shit. So while I can be excited, like, yay, this is my first apartment, and it's just like, bitch, you're 27. Like, there's people who are like 25 that own houses. Like, what are you doing? Like, but again, like, I'm not trying to, look in anyone's bag. I got my own shit going on. They got their own shit going on. It's whatever, you know what I mean? But again, I just like, one of my personal problems, my toxic trait, is that I'm never fucking satisfied. So while I can be like, yay, I transmuted all this bullshit, and I'm by myself and I have my own space and da da da, like there's a big part of me, and it might be the Capricorn rising, that's just like, bitch, you are not in a fucking mansion. You're not in a fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't, where's your island? You should have owned the island by now. Why don't you have an island, ho? Like, yeah, anyway, so yeah, I just, whatever. But again, grateful for where I'm at, but I'm also like grinding, because I know that I have more I guess I have more to grow up. I have more to do to get where I want to be. Whatever. So, anyway, yeah. So when I petitioned Saint Expedite, I got one of the 7-day candles, like pillar candles that just had his like name on it. But then I also heard that you can use either purple, orange, yellow candles for him. I mean, white is always like, the base color, all that good stuff. So write out your petition or your letter to Saint Expedite. And I've been told that, you want to be as very like, just very precise. Like, I mean, you should be precise with all of your spell work and the way that you word things, but for him in particular, because it's just like, they said, I heard something about him just not being too bright. Like, it's just, I mean, and when you think about it, it's Saint Expedite. It's that mercurial energy, that quicksilver energy. It's very like, let's get it, let's go before you can even like figure some shit out. So yes, you want to be very precise when asking him for things. But then sorry, that's a gnat. I've learned just anytime you're doing a spell work or you're trying to bring things in or whatever, like to always ask for what you want, but also for better. Like, because sometimes like I feel like we can block our own blessings by having like our cap on things, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even know what true happiness is because you define happiness as you having a blunt and a beer at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, and that might be true for you, but that's your cap. And so it's like spirit will be like, I see you and I raise you some other shit. And that's just what you want to be open for. At least that's what I want to be open for, because, I don't want to limit myself, I guess. I don't know. Maybe you like limits. Have fun with that shit. Here, you could take mine. So anyway, yeah. So what I did basically was, I like wrote down my petition. I asked him to like, make sure that my application went through and background check, all the things that needed to like, all the paperwork shit just, went through fast, quick, and in a hurry, with no problems. I'm not gonna lie, because like, I'm not gonna put that out there. But anyway, never mind. I had to stop myself. I'm about to get in trouble. But anyway, I just wanted to make sure like the paperwork looked good, whatever, or was overlooked, if you know what I mean. But anyway, so I took a copy of the application. Obviously, look, it's a copy of the application that you want to put under the candle, right? That you're burning for him. The actual like application, you want to turn that in Yeah, and I know it might sound dumb that I have to explain that to certain people, and good for you, gold star. You are like in the honors class, because there are some motherfuckers that will literally fill out an application and leave it on their desk and then be like, what happened? How come nothing manifests for me? And it's like, bitch, did you actually turn it in? So yeah, make sure you actually turn your fucking paperwork in. But yeah, St. Expedite, he wants his public accolades, he wants his pound cake. And if you guys work with St. Expedite, let me know if he asked you for some type of beverage, because when I was working with him, I just got like the taste of Dr. Pepper, so I gave it to him. I'm not sure if that's a thing. I haven't seen that with any of the people that I watch that talk about St. Expedite, but I mean, I just wonder. So yeah, does he like Dr. Pepper? Have you given him Dr. Pepper as an offering? Like, let me know. But yeah, so I did that and it was great. But also during this time, let's get to the lying. So I was in such a, again, negative headspace. And you know that when you're in a negative space, or when you're in that, I'm not gonna lie, I was desperate. I was desperate to get the fuck on. So desperation isn't really like, great, again, for spell work. And so what I had to do was I started lying to people. So I literally just started telling everybody, it's like, oh yeah, I got this apartment and da-da-da, this, that, and the third. And it's great, it's beautiful. I haven't even seen the bitch at this point in time, but I'm just like talking all this big shit. And also like, again, like buying things for my apartment that hasn't manifested yet. So like getting all my kitchen supplies and like, I'm just like, I'm gonna decorate like this, or I'm gonna decorate like that, and da-da-da, all this other stuff. That helped a lot. When I tell you, like, because I knew that I wasn't going to make it alone. And I'm not saying that to like put myself down. I'm not saying that as like, I don't want nobody to be like, oh, have more faith in yourself. No, bitch, I have faith in myself. I know myself so much to the point where I know when I'm going to fail. And that's a fucked up trait to have. I'm sorry. But I was like, there's just something here that I'm missing. And, the missing link was lying. Because here's the thing. You know how like people tell you not to tell anybody about your spell work or anything that you're trying to manifest, cultivate, all that good stuff until it's here in the 3D, until it's present. So you could be like, look what I made. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I think that is so much validity to that, because, like the more people you tell, the more energies that are on it. And it be your own people, you know what I'm saying? And it like that block your blessings. And sometimes it's not even on some malicious shit. You know what I mean? Like when I was growing up, there'd be certain things I realized when I was a teenager. I'm like, I can't tell my mom this, because like she'll block my blessing, and it's not out of malicious, not hate. Like she wasn't a jealous ass mom or none of that. It was literally just out of her fear of like, oh, well, what if something happens to you? Or her fear of like, I'm the baby. So it's like, oh no, you're going to leave the nest. I can't have you leave the nest. Come back to me. Like that type of shit. And it was just, her pull was just so strong. And at the time, like I didn't really know, or, you're being a teenager. So it's like your head's up your own ass. And, I definitely, raise your hand if your head's been up your ass a few times. My shit be so far up there. Anyway, so, yeah, I was just kind of like, I'd be bitter as fuck towards my mom. Like I have some good news happen and I'm just like, well, shit, I can't tell her. And I'll just be walking around the house mad as fuck, like side-eyeing her on the low. Because if she caught me side-eyeing her, I wouldn't be, live to tell you this tale. But I'd just be like, what you got? Like, why you like this? Anyway, so where were we? I'm sorry. Y'all know I deviate and trail off and things. Wait. Trying to get that thought back. Okay, but yeah, so the more people you tell about like your manifestations, the more energies that are on it, and a lot of them aren't really conducive to the mission, so you don't want to tell people about that. I get that. However, when it comes to shit like this, it was like I needed more people to believe in me. I didn't believe in myself. When, like, again, I've even in past lives, so this is my first time in my first of all the lives that I've lived, all the incarnations that I've had, this is the very first one where I am living by myself. Bitch, what the fuck? So yeah, I needed help. And it's not like I could have, been on some fucking practical magic shit and called up like the people in my neighborhood, like, bitch, come bring a broom, come over here, I need you. Like, no. So I was going around and just lying to people. And I mean, I can't really say I was lying because, bitch, here we are. And that's the thing, like, if you're gonna lie, at least like be walking in that faith. Like, y'all know that phrase, like, fake it till you make it. But then the other part of that phrase is like, some people have been faking it so long they forget to make it. Don't be one of them. Don't be one of them. Don't be a Pisces. Sorry. Anyway, Yeah. So Saint Expedite, won't he do it? Yes, he will. And here I am, I guess. I've been working out a lot of shadow work things surrounding like just why I've been in this position of like, again, like, why was I so worried about being by myself, living by myself? Like, again, it's not like I haven't been off with other people. Like I've done this type of shit before. I've house hunted before with like roommates. I've, you know, signed leases before with roommates, all this other shit. But for some reason, like me doing it by myself, it was just like this mental block of like I just really didn't understand how somebody would do that. Strange, right? The cognitive dissonance that we collectively have as humans, it's scary. But yeah, all right, so yeah, just a quick video talking about petitioning Saint Expedite. If you guys ever petition him, if you don't mind sharing, what did you ask him for and how did you receive it? Again, I'm really curious about that Dr. Pepper thing, so please let me know. And if it wasn't Dr. Pepper, if he requested like orange juice or something like that, or any type of like, you know, just out of the ordinary offering, yeah, let me know. What else y'all want to talk about? What you want to see? It's weird. So like, when I started doing like a lot of, when I just started talking about my spiritual journey, people were like, oh, make story times about like the deities or entities that you like work with or whatever. But then it's like, I've done a few of those. And then it's like, you know what? I'm gonna spare y'all that. That's not your problem. Like, I need to make content for me that I enjoy making, that I want to put out and share with the world, and it has nothing to do with any of you. Sorry. But also, if you just want to like, you know, casually, you know, ask for a video, I do requests. So I guess anyway, yeah. Learn and grow. Go for 2 Fs. Bye.